In a quaint village nestled between two ancient mountains, there was a Zen monastery, known far and wide for its profound teachings. The monastery was led by Master Hoshin, a wise old monk who was revered for his deep understanding of life and the nature of reality. One day, a young man named Taro arrived at the monastery. He was eager, restless, and filled with questions about the meaning of life. "Master Hoshin," he asked, "I've traveled from village to village, seeking answers to the mysteries of life, but I've found none. Can you show me the path to enlightenment?" Master Hoshin, looking deeply into Taro's eyes, said, "Before I answer your question, I'd like you to do something for me. Go to the nearby forest and bring me a pine cone." Puzzled, but willing, Taro ventured into the forest. He returned shortly with a pine cone and presented it to the master. Hoshin took the pine cone, examined it, and then, with a swift motion, threw it into the roaring fire beside him. Taro watched in astonishment as the pine cone crackled and burned. "Now," said Master Hoshin, "bring me another pine cone, but this time, find one that has not yet opened." Again, Taro went into the forest. After much searching, he found a closed pine cone and brought it to the master. This time, Hoshin placed the pine cone on the windowsill, where it would receive the warmth of the sun. Days turned into weeks, and slowly, the pine cone began to open, revealing its seeds. "Do you see, Taro?" Hoshin began. "Both pine cones have the potential for new life within them. One was destroyed by the fire, while the other was nurtured by the sun's warmth. Similarly, our minds can either be consumed by the fires of anger, jealousy, and ignorance, or they can be nurtured by the warmth of wisdom, compassion, and understanding." Taro nodded, beginning to grasp the lesson, but he was still not satisfied. "But Master, how do I find this warmth? How do I nurture my mind?" Master Hoshin smiled. "Tomorrow at dawn, come with me to the river." The next morning, Taro joined Hoshin at the riverbank. The master pointed to a large rock in the middle of the river and said, "Try to move that rock." Taro approached the rock and pushed with all his might, but it didn't budge. He tried again and again, but the rock remained unmoved. Exhausted and frustrated, Taro turned to the master and said, "It's impossible. The rock won't move." Master Hoshin walked over to a nearby tree and plucked a leaf. He placed the leaf on the water's surface, and they both watched as it effortlessly flowed around the rock. "You see, Taro, the rock is like the challenges we face in life sometimes. Instead of confronting them head-on, we must learn to flow around them, just like the leaf on the water." Taro pondered the lesson for a while. "Master," he finally asked, "how do I become like the leaf? How do I learn to flow?" Hoshin replied, "By letting go, by not holding on to anger, resentment, or any other negative emotion, by being present in the moment, and by understanding that life is a series of ever-changing moments." The young man spent several years at the monastery, learning from Master Hoshin and practicing the art of Zen. He meditated, worked in the gardens, and helped with the daily chores. Over time, Taro's restlessness faded, replaced by a deep sense of peace and understanding. One day, as Taro was sweeping the courtyard, a traveler approached him and asked, "Are you Master Hoshin's student? I've heard so much about the wisdom of this monastery." Taro paused, then replied, "I am but a humble student, still learning the ways of Zen, but if you seek wisdom, perhaps I can share a story." And so, Taro recounted his journey, from his arrival at the monastery, to the lessons of the pine cones and the rock in the river. The traveler listened intently, absorbing every word. As Taro finished his story, the traveler bowed deeply and said, "Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Your story has opened my eyes to the true nature of life." Taro smiled, realizing that he had come full circle. He had arrived at the monastery as a seeker, and now he was a teacher, passing on the wisdom of Zen to others. And so, the cycle of learning and teaching continued, as it had for centuries, in the quiet Zen monastery between the two ancient mountains.